let's talk about the science of motivation. You see, at the end of the day, it's hard to focus on a topic you are not interested in, right? You have to have motivation to do something. And when it comes to motivations, there are two types of motivation. One is what we call intrinsic motivation. Motivation that comes from the inside. We're motivated to do something because of who we are, because of what we believe, because of what we want. It comes from within. And then there's external motivation. Things like money, like salary, like gifts, like presents. We sometimes do things for external motivations, things that come from outside of us. Now, in the book Drive by Daniel Pink, he discusses the idea that you need intrinsic motivation, intrinsic drive to learn and to learn efficiently. And how do we do this? He gives us 3 intrinsic motivations or drives for us to learn and continue to learn. One is autonomy, that is to have control. We want to work on things that we want to do and that we have control over. We want to work on things that gives us control of our lives. The second is mastery. We're intrinsically motivated to be masters of something, to be good at something and to be recognized by others as being masters of a skill. That makes us feel good. And then finally, we have the third, which is purpose. What is our purpose? How does this benefit myself and others around you? What is my destiny? At the end of the day, you can learn how to learn. You can learn how to be an efficient learner. But without internal motivation, without actually having the drive to want to learn, no trick is going to do the job for you. And there is a famous effect in psychology called the over-justification effect, which occurs when an external incentive actually decreases a person's intrinsic motivation to perform a behavior or an activity. Researchers actually found that when something like money or prizes, which are external rewards, are given for actions that people actually find intrinsically motivated or intrinsically rewarding, they actually become less internally motivated to pursue those activities in the future. For example, if you've always enjoyed playing the piano and you become a professional pianist and all of a sudden your job becomes to play the piano, maybe you don't get that motivation anymore. Maybe when you come home from work, all you want to do is not look at a piano. That's the effect. That's the over-justification effect. Now, this isn't to suggest that extrinsic motivation is a bad thing. Money is important. Gifts, presents, sometimes are important. And extrinsic motivations can actually be beneficial in certain situations. It can actually be helpful when a person needs to complete a task that they find unpleasant. Like, remember when we talked about procrastination? When we're looking to procrastinate, something like an extrinsic motivation, like if I do 5 minutes of this, then I can have a cup of coffee. Then I can have a piece of chocolate. That actually helps when it comes to a task that we find that we procrastinate on. So external rewards can actually help us do things that as an individual we had no initial interest in doing. So when we're just starting off to acquire a new skill or a new piece of knowledge, extrinsic motivation and rewards are really, really good. However, once these early skills have been learned, for long term, you need to start becoming intrinsically motivated to pursue that activity. It's great when you start to learn how to play the guitar and you get extrinsic rewards. But after a while, if you're not internally motivated to become better and better at playing the guitar, you're not going to pursue the activity. Remember in the lies section of the course, we talked about this idea that to follow your passion is simply a lie? This is what we're talking about. When you follow your passion and then you suddenly get paid for it, it doesn't become a passion anymore. What drives you should be internal. The idea of learning, of improving. If you're learning machine learning, the idea of becoming better, of getting respect from others, of having autonomy, mastery, and purpose over our work is what will drive us to continue to push, to continue to learn, to put ourselves in those uncomfortable situations of active learning to become better and better. So the key takeaway is here to put yourself in a situation where you can be praised for your learning. If you're surrounded by people who praise you for learning and getting better, having good friends, having good social connections, having a community of people that support each other, well, that's actually going to help with your intrinsic motivation because you're getting better and better at something. And getting better at something feels good. And when you're being recognized for that, that's going to drive you for success.